Don't you wish most pre-built keyboards are made of mostly metal with an amazing colorway and keycaps to match? Ducky made one already, but you can't even buy it anymore because it's a limited edition design, the Ducky Mecha SF Emerald. Is it worth Ducky revisiting this idea? The Mecha SF has an aluminum frame with a special paint, which glistens a beautiful green, and sports a color-matched keycap set with orange accents and teal legends. Looking closely at the injection-molded PVD keycap set, all the legends are nice and uniform. Nothing seems to be misaligned as well. I really wish Ducky would release this set as a standalone keycap set, but I wouldn't really keep my hopes up. I would love to have this on a larger 75% board, basically the Mecha SF a 65%, and just add the F row. The board itself is very sturdy with a nice heft to it while being just comfortable to carry with a single hand. The taper on the sides actually help with being able to pick it up, and the rubber feet underneath are also found on the height adjustment feet, which stops the board from moving forward while typing, but there isn't enough weight on the keyboard to prevent you from sliding it around. Don't worry, it won't slowly slide off the table if you go click the like button. I would appreciate it, definitely helps the channel. Ducky keyboards aren't normally marketed towards the gaming crowd, but they did gain some notoriety when they collaborated with Tfue, a gaming creator. I'll get into the gaming performance later in the video, as I did opt for the cherry silver speed switches. What makes a Ducky keyboard somewhat special and somewhat controversial? Whether it's creating macros, adjusting the debounce delay, multimedia, and even mouse control, customizing the RGB, also playing Minesweeper on the keyboard itself. It's all done on the keyboard, making the PC it's connected to clutter-free from resource-draining apps. However, going through a bunch of shortcut keys to record a macro without any indication you've made a mistake can be seen as cumbersome, making it a big friction point to customizing the keyboard for your personal use. But on the other hand, no matter which computer you connect the board to, all the macros and all the settings you made will be the same no matter what. The typing experience on the Mecha SF is solid, quite literally, with little to no give. For heavy typists, this is, depending on what you're used to, not the best experience. Putting a desk mat underneath it does help. Using the Cherry Speed Silvers, I'm able to just swipe the top of the key to register an input without bottoming out completely. Which brings us to the gaming experience, right after the sound test for the keyboard enthusiast out there. Cherry Silvers are mostly known as a gaming switch, with its responsive actuation point at a short 1.2mm and 3.4mm total travel distance, compared to the standard 2mm actuation and 4mm travel distance, so that's a slight reduction there. Combined with the solid board the Ducky Mecha SF has, and setting the debounce delay to 5 milliseconds, the board feels very responsive, despite the switch itself not having any real impact on gaming, coming from non-speed switches. If you tend to mash down keys, it can get fatiguing, as there's no cushion on the board. Hopefully, if Ducky does create a new version of the Mecha SF, there's more give to the chassis for a more comfortable experience, and they include hot swap sockets, like their newer 1.3s. Yes, that's confusing 1.3s. The Mecha SF as of right now has a good customizable experience without any software. Great for the esports scene since it doesn't bog down the computer by adding software bloat on top of the game you're running. One of the downsides, if you could call it a downside, is not only the lowest debounce delay of being 5 milliseconds, the polling rate maxes out at 1000 Hz. With mice and keyboards now coming out with 4000 and 8000 Hz polling rate for increased responsiveness, should you even bother with keyboards without at least 4000 Hz polling? I believe a more responsive feel is better in general, but I also don't believe it's a big leap in the keyboard experience. It's nice to have, however, there isn't much support for it in both games and the Windows operating system, simply because of how often the computer would be receiving and then computing the information from the keyboard. And I think it would take about 3 to 5 years for widespread adoption of the higher polling rate, where it would be in most games that release. So if you're looking for a clutter-free, no-app experience for customizing a keyboard, the Ducky Mecha SF is one of the best out there. However, it's not really available, so I would suggest you look into more of the ONE 3 series. Yes, it's confusing, but there you go. And if you're looking for something that benefits more with a higher polling rate, check out this video. Subscribe for more tech reviews with both productivity and gaming in mind. I'm your host, Naka. Have a nice one. I don't even know why this isn't normal for mid-range pre-builds. It should be the standard, honestly.